and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Julian!
Good evening, everybody. I'm very aware that I offend most people, so I just want to check out on the audience, are there any Americans here? No Americans? Are there any Belgians here? Are there any French here? Are there any Germans besides Michael? Yeah. Okay. Actually, I have to say that most of Europe has bad things to say about Germans. This is actually a good story about Germans. So I know Michael will be pleased. I work in the travel business, in the safari business, and at one point I was running safaris into Rwanda. Does anybody know where Rwanda is? Okay, it's a small, tiny country in Central Africa that had a war that started in 1990, and I was with a group of tourists in Rwanda when the war started there. And so I had a group of tourists. There were 6 Americans, 6 Australians, and 2 British people there. And we were in this hotel in Kigali, and we were woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning by boom, 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 bang, 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 bang. And I went out onto the veranda and looked out, and towards the airport there's gunfire going off and anti-tank rockets firing around the place and bullets flying everywhere. And so I get a call from one of my group that I'm looking after, an American group. And they're on the telephone to me. They say, "What's going on? What have you done? Why are we doing it? What's happening here? I've got to speak to the State Department. I'm going to complain about you." I said, please, calm down. I have nothing to do with this war in Rwanda, I promise you. So I said, let me try and find out what's going on. So I go around, and it appears that the army, the Tutsi army, has come down from Uganda and is fighting for the airport. So I go around and speak to the various clients. I go and speak to the Americans. I go to the first American room, and I go in and I say, "Mr. and Mrs. Wolf?" "Yes." "Hello, it's Julian." "Yes, what do you want?" So, "Well, I'm just checking on you." And I go into the room, and I say, "Is everything all right?" "Yeah, it's all right." So I look around, and I see underneath the bed. Have you ever seen a hotel bed, how high that thing is? That's about 3 inches. Imagine fitting in a pair of Americans underneath a 3-inch bed, okay? But sure enough, that's where this couple was. They are under the hotel bed. There's just a thing there. So I say, how is everything, Mrs. Wolf?" "It's terrible." She said, "They're going to kill us." And I said, "Well, then I don't think they want to kill you, you know. I mean, they want to kill various people, but not you." I've been under the State Department in Washington D.C. and I've told them to come and rescue us because we're going to be massacred. And you know what they said? I said, "Well, I have a pretty good idea, but you tell me what they said." They said, "We don't know where Rwanda is." So I said, "Well, you know, it's not really surprising they don't know where Rwanda is. When you look on a map, it's a really very small part there. Plus the fact the man in the State Department who you called is the duty officer. He normally works for the agricultural department, but he's on night shift. And he comes off shift in half an hour. And if he can avoid this for long enough, it becomes someone else's problem. So that's why he doesn't care where you are or what's going to happen to you." "Well, this is all your fault. I can't believe that you've done this." I said, "Well, I'll try and sort it out." So I then went and looked for the Australians. Okay, there were 6 Australians. And I went and I'm looking for the Australians. I go into the first room, no Australians there. Go into the second room, no Australians there. I go into the third room, knock on the door, and "Hello?" And they go, "All right." I said, "Can I come in?" "Yeah, Julian, great to see you, mate. Listen, have a drink here. We've got the mini bar open. And I don't know what we've got left. We seem to have drunk most of it. But we've got some green shit called True or something like that. Would you like that? I said, yeah, that was very nice. Thank you very much. And so they said, this is amazing. You wouldn't believe what we've seen here today. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'll have another one of that. What is that? I do bonnets. Well, it's amazing, you know. So, hey, Ralph, show him the video. Oh, have a look at the video. Yeah, I got this from the veranda and I put it out the window. And you see, look at all those people there. They're all massacred in the ditch. It's absolutely amazing. Wait until the folks back home hear about this. They're gonna be so jealous that we had this incredible experience. It's great. Well, the Australians obviously were pretty happy, so I was kind of delighted with that. So we still had 2 Brits. Didn't know where the 2 Brits were. Meanwhile, there's gunfire going on everywhere. So I go around and I go to the Brits' room. There's nobody there. Go down to the lounge. There's nobody there. Go around, and I'm thinking to myself, what's happened to the Brits? They've gone for a walk. Or they've gone to try and find tea. And they've been killed. And I saw my entire career flash across my eyes. The man who had the British tourists killed in Rwanda. So I look a little bit further and I just go past the dining room and I look in, and over there in the middle of the dining room in a round table there are these 2 British people, and they're sitting at this table, and over there by the swimming pool steps there's a guy with a machine gun going boom 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 boom, and there's a very nervous waiter going like this. And he goes like this. So I said, Janet, James, I'm so glad you're okay. I was really worried about you. I wondered what had happened to you. And I said, how is everything? And the fella, he looks and he says, well, he said, under the circumstances, breakfast is remarkably good. Have I gone longer, or should I come?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. So anyway, so then the French Foreign Legion land at the airport and fight their way down to the hotel. So the hotel is liberated by the French Foreign Legion. The Americans at this point are like, you better get us out of here, buddy. We are sick and tired of this shit. You get us out of here. So I said, okay, I'll see what I can do. So I spoke with the French Foreign Legion, who were very nice. They're not usually very nice, but they were very nice in this case. And so we organized, they said there is one plane at the airport that needs to get away, wants to fly out as fast as possible. So I said, where's the plane going? And they said, Luanda. Does anyone know where Luanda is? It's the capital of Angola. Angola was going through one of the worst African civil wars in history. I mean, it was a chaos. So I went and saw the Americans and I said, okay guys, get together. I found a way for you to get out of here. You better get us out of here, buddy. So I said, I've got you out of here. I said, there's a plane leaving here, but the big thing is, it's going to Luanda. I don't care where it's going. You just get us out of here, you hear? I said, my pleasure. So, in conjunction with the French Foreign Legion, we put together a convoy of commandeered vehicles, and the French Foreign Legion guys were sitting on the top there with their machine guns, and I got the Americans on there, and I said to the French Foreign Legion, just make sure they get on the plane. He said, it's my pleasure. He said, it's actually a British guy. French Foreign Legion is largely consisted of British people who have deserted from the British military. So he said, yeah, no problem, I'll sort that out. So we got rid of the Americans. So we're now holed up in the hotel for another day. There's not much to eat. The only thing to drink is everything that's in the bar, most of which had been drunk by the Australians. And so eventually we get to the airport, okay? The airport, it's like the last helicopter out of Saigon in 1975. It is chaos. Everybody who's been able to make it to the airport to think that they can get out are there. There are people elbowing small children out of the way when they get to the front. And at the Air France desk and the Sabina, the Belgian airline, are there, and it is being mobbed. And there are people, all kinds of people. Like there's a woman who's got 4 big white fluffy dogs on a leash, and the Air France guy is going, "No, no, et encore, no!" So I speak to the French guys. They say, "Well, we will take it to Paris, but you have to pay $5,000. I said, "Well, I don't want to go to Paris until I don't want to pay $1,000. And then I go to the Belgians, and they said they take you to Brussels, but we have to also pay $1,000. And I said, "Well, I want to go to Nairobi." Now, I knew they had to go to Nairobi to refuel in order to get back to town. But they said no, they wouldn't take us to Nairobi. They would only take us to Paris or Brussels. So I came back. The Australians by this time have found some Japanese people, and they're sitting on the floor going, "Kanpai!" It is out of. They've emptied the duty-free shop by this time. The British people are wandering around politely. So I'm terribly sorry. No. Sorry. Wait. So we have. So it's absolute chaos. So I'm thinking, how the hell are we going to get back to Nairobi? And then I look in the corner, over there, way over there in the corner, there's a group of people. And this group of people have organized their suitcases in order of size. All the way down here. And they've got organized children's games with refreshments. And it's not just like, let your kids go crazy and annoy everybody. No. It's like organized children's games. And the children are being well behaved. There's something strange going on here. So I sidle up, pretending I'm just looking around, and I hear, "Gesteinigte Rosengarten, Weizenorden, Heidelguck, Eich, bei Vortrag, So I say, German. So there was a very, very a tall white-haired man, a very distinguished-looking man, and he was obviously the ringleader. He turned out he was the ambassador. And so I went up to him and I said, "Julian Hutton, European citizen, how do you do?" And he said, "Yes, what do you want?" I said, "You've got an evacuation flight coming in here, haven't you?" "How did you guess this? I said, "Well, I took a kind of wild guess, because if you look over the outside of the airport, they're all murdering each other to get on a plane, and you guys are going, well." I said, "Now I have a whole lot of European citizens here, trying to pretend that the Australians, well, at least they were behaving like Brits. They were drunk. But by this time they're drunk and singing, and so everybody assumed they were Brits. And then these other 2 Brits." And I said, "Can we get on your plane to go?" And they said, "All right, but no propaganda." No, Herr Goebbels, I promise you, no propaganda whatsoever. No propaganda. We won't tell a soul. So he said, "Okay." So I dragged the Australians by their hair over there. Sit here. We're going. So now we wait a while, and the Belgians disappear, and the French disappear, and we're waiting here for the German evacuation flight to come in. At which point the Rwandese army come in, who are all Hutus, who are obviously, for those who know, where's Sean and Simon, you know the Hutu and the Tutsi divide there, and so the Germans see the Hutu army coming in, and they try to arrest, to take away and kill the Tutsis. The Germans are issuing German citizenship documents to the Tutsis who are there. And then when the Rwandese army came in with guns, this ambassador, he went in front and he said, "You leave them alone. They are German citizens. And if you touch these people, you will find yourself in enormous trouble from my government, and we'll come and invade you like we did Poland." And so the Rwandese army, if you thought the Polish army was crap, you should see the Rwandese army. So the Rwandese army figured that lines of panzers turning up in Kigali was, not something they wanted to deal with. So they said, okay, fine, we'll leave it here. So the Germans did that. They issued these passports to all of the Tutsi people. And I know, first of all, if it had been the Americans, they wouldn't have actually known what to write because they wouldn't have known where the country was, so they would have just done it. If it had been the British, they'd have been busy going, oh, we don't know these people. No, never seen them before. Tutsis? No. have them, we don't want them. The French would have sold the Tutsis to the Rwandese for a profit, and the Belgians would have just given them to them. But the Germans stood up and rescued these guys. And when a plane came, a Lufthansa flight came from Frankfurt and landed at that airport, and we all ran to that plane, and we hadn't really eaten anything for a few days. We were dirty, we were thirsty, and we run to that plane because it wants to take off as fast as possible, and we go up those steps, and there at the top of the steps, there's a Lufthansa stewardess with a tray of drinks, perfectly made up. You wouldn't believe she'd flown 8 hours to here, landed in a war zone, and was going, champagne, sir? Meanwhile, the Australians going, oh, here's champagne! I'll take some of that. Yeah, thank you. So we get on this plane. The story's nearly over, so don't worry. We get on this plane and they fly us to Nairobi, and then they announce and they say, so we'll be spending the night here in Nairobi. We are spending the night in the gymnasium. Well, in German, as you know, a gymnasium is a school. In English, it's a kind of place where you do like horrible exercises. So I had a vision of spending the night there and someone coming around going, Raus, time for exercises! So I said, well, it was very kind of them. Thank you very much for the kind offer, but I thought I'd find a hotel. And that is a positive story about the Germans.